there's so many other languages and twangs and colloquial terms I learned to pick up my various characters. But this was the first time I had to catch hold of a completely different world and way of communicating.
Right.
And I think for an actor, nothing can be as exciting as this. More challenging it becomes more exciting for actors.
Good morning. This is Manjusha Radhakrishnan. I'm the entertainment editor for Gulf News Dubai. Today, I have man of the moment, Aparshakti Khurana, who we know him from comedy, but this time around, we're talking to him about something far more grimmer, and I think in a very different avatar, right? We see you in comic roles, and suddenly you are now in a spy thriller. That's the genre I thought you would never take up. So well done, you. Perhaps you can tell us.
Thank you so much, Manjusha. And only for Manjusha to feel happy about it that Apar only doesn't do comedy, does other things as well. I picked this up. Otherwise, I would not have done it at all.
I'm sure. And your legion of fans that you have gathered over the years, you have done your time, you have done so well. But I have to say, I was very surprised to see you in a festival friendly movie because some actors you just don't associate with serious content or not serious. I don't think it's fair to call it serious. It's just a different, darker genre, right? We're talking about
So,
people's lives at stake, an assassination attempt at a Russian president. So perhaps you need to tell us, like, is this your way of breaking that stereotype that you can only do comedy?
so Manjusha, first of all, I would, like to say that audience in Dubai or globally, even audience in India has really become very intelligent, okay? And they don't want to see a person doing similar things. Our profession is very well dependent on what the other person wants, okay? People who are watching it, they should get something new. I
Mm.
can, in my head, wire myself accordingly that I can eat Rajma Chawal every day. But if it doesn't make me earn good money, then it's a problem. So hence, the reason of picking up various other kind of roles and trying to experiment and trying to, you know, do films from a Dangal to Stree to, then from
Yeah.
a, Kanpuriye to a Jubilee to a Berlin. The reason of doing such cinemas, such pure cinema, is for that is for the audience because they have become very very intelligent these days. Very intelligent, very demanding, very even in a good way demanding, not in a bad way. So very very intelligent, very demanding, very interesting and intriguing. They really look forward to new kinds of stories. So
Right.
because they have become intelligent, artists have to, experiment. Legends of yesteryears, you know, they didn't really keep on doing the same things because they wanted to do the same things. It's because audience wanted them to do this. So
Mm.
I would like to believe that audience right now is very, very intelligent, especially the kind of audience you have, the global audience.
Right. I just saw Ishan Khatter in The Perfect Couple
Yeah,
on a platform. And I have to say, I felt such a case of reflected pride. Here is an example of how art has no boundaries, right? With
not
OTT
at all.
platforms, Z coming in, etc. People are watching content. And I think this is your way also of appealing to a larger audience, isn't it? Because I remember at one point it was always about India, Pakistan, that I'm familiar with those. With this, I had to actually, after watching the trailer, I had to look at what was India and who were we siding with, etc. It was like a crash course on which block did we belong to. Did you have the same problem also? That this is a very unfamiliar terrain, I feel. The Cold War is something that I expect Hollywood to do, not an Indian filmmaker, weirdly.
I understand where you're coming from, but that's not something which was really,
Uh-huh.
after reading the script, it's not something which crossed my mind. I'll be honest about
Okay.
it. Everybody
Okay.
reads it differently. Everybody conceives it differently. It's a very actor to actor, director, director, audience to audience, journalist to journalist kind of a reaction. Once I read it, and once, Atul Sabharwal, the writer and director of the film, narrated the script to me, my instant reaction was, oh my God, I want to be a part of it. You
Wow.
know, it's something written very differently. Not very often you hear stories where sign language is a tool to take the story forward, where two agencies are kind of fighting with each other, and the guy who is so naive and docile, who comes to their rescue, suddenly, there's a lot of up and down and twists and turns happening in the film.
Right. Right.
The moment I heard the script, my only excitement was I want to do it, and I'm not going to let go of this. And It'll be very interesting to learn sign language. It'll be very interesting too, because what had happened was that so far I'd only learned dialects. In Dangal, I had a Haryanvi dialect. In Dhoka around the corner, I had a Kashmiri dialect. Then from a Khadi Boli to an Avdhi language to, to Bengali. There's so many other languages and twangs and colloquial terms I learned to pick up my various characters. But this was the first time I had to catch hold of a completely different word and way of communicating.
Right.
And I think for an actor, nothing can be as exciting as this. More challenging it is, it becomes more exciting for actors.
It's your most restrained performance. I thought, just going by the trailer again, I haven't seen the movie, I haven't got the screener yet, but I feel it's your restrained thing, right? You have to somehow convince them of your intent, of your feeling. Was that a tough? What was your brief? I'm very curious to know, if I were a fly on the wall, what did your director tell you? Like, how do I make myself known without the power of words, which is the arsenal, right, in an actor's kit.
You're 200% right that the body language, the physicality of Pushkin Verma, the storyteller of this film, is extremely different from Aparshakti. It's extremely different from what I've done back in the day. They all require certain kind of physicality, certain kind of, up temponess, certain kind of chirpiness to deliver those lines from Bittu, from Stree to Omkar from Dangal to Rizwan from Pati Patni or Wo or Abbas from Lukka Chupi. They all require a certain kind of chirpiness and up temponess.
Yes.
But there was a part called Pushkin Verma where you just had to be an epitome of common man, of a and that too of a school teacher. It's hard to find. It can't be the sign language teacher in the school can't be a flamboyant boy. So it had to be a very humble character.
Right.
My only request to Atul sir was that whatever you've written on the paper, I have got my beat. We were few days down on the workshop, especially for sign language and otherwise reading workshops. I told him I pretty much got, the sense of the character. But there might be a day where I will be coming from another professional commitment, be it hosting an award show last
Yes.
night, or or going out for a brand shoot last night, and the next morning I'll be coming to you. Just remind me of my pace. That's about it. It was a
Right.
very honest confession, and I think more often than not, if I'm able to control my tempo, especially of the dialogues, especially the way I think, I'm more often than not home. And I think Atul Sabharwal did a great job in the workshops itself to calm me down and make me feel like Pushkin.
Right. And did a blockbuster like Stree perhaps embolden you to do a movie like this, just to mix things up? Because you know that somewhere along the way, I want to do a mix of genres, right? Did it embolden you?
See, first of all, when we were shooting Stree 2, we did not know that it's going to be a 600 CR film. When I reached Berlin's set, or when I was reading or being, the film was being narrated to me, I could see that the kind of mainstream commercial cinema I've done, this is something very different, very real. And
Mm.
as I said, more challenging it gets for an artist, it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
You, आपके दिमाग के घोड़े और खुल बैठते हैं कि यार, okay, I want to do this. How am I going to do
Right.
this?
Right, of course. And you are also working alongside Rahul Bose, who's like the go-to actor for film festivals. I remember still speaking to him about Dubai International Film Festival, which is now defunct. But yeah, at that point he was there. That man can do any festival circuit. I feel he's a veteran. Did you feel like an amateur next to him? Just the film festival circuit. How to get that?
Not only for film festival, I think I just felt like एक तो he treats me like a kid brother. I love him for that. There's a lot to learn from him personally and professionally. I love the mix of both the worlds he's been able to do, the commercial and the non-commercial cinema. I love the way he juggles between his rugby commitments and his NGO commitments and films. I love the discipline he carries. I mean, with his health, especially, very, very high on fresh juices, no sugar, no tea, coffee, no nothing. I love the way he functions. I'll be happiest if I'm able to get rid of tea, coffee from my life. I can't. I clearly can't.
You really can't. No, no, no. It's okay. You need something to come on. Not everybody can function as a discipline and a thing. I can't give up my coffee no matter what. So there
I
you
love
go.
my tea, coffee. I'm such a
Yeah,
early morning chai and an evening coffee person. I just can't do without it.
there you
And
go.
and वो time हो गया तो हो गया. Even if I'm talking to a senior journalist, I need my coffee. I and touch wood, it only makes the conversation better because I'll be in a happier mood. So I'm sorry if it's bothering
No,
you.
no, no, it's good. I totally get it.
But
You drinking
yeah.
coffee makes me crave coffee, but it's still lunchtime here, so I'm yet to have lunch. But yes, Aparshakti, you have to tell me you have done your time in Bollywood. You have actually one of the actors, I would say there are many like you who have come up the hard way. Like you may have a popular brother, but that does not negate your the way you have done your time. Every movie, it's been one movie at a time you're trying to make a mark. Do you think you feel validated now? What's your headspace like now? Do you feel like you have arrived? Does that happen to you?
Yes, when I put on the Google location, the Google map, it says you have arrived to your destination. That's the only time you feel arrived. Okay. Otherwise, even if you ask Bachchan Saab, he says, I'm still a learner. So there is no way I am able to answer that question then. The seniors, when the seniors and the legends of the industry say that I'm still a learner, and which is also true in our field. You need to
Yeah.
be a keen learner in our industry. Only then you can evolve as an actor, reinvent yourself as an actor, as an artist. So I don't think so any of the relevant actors would say that we have arrived. Now coming to your first question. First of all, thank you so much for it. It sounded like a very polite compliment that I've had a journey of my own. And touch wood, that was also something which was fed by my father. And it was a conscious decision made by me and my brother. We all sat together and understood, okay, that I'm also about to enter this world and enter this profession. And we three spoke about it. That okay, in my own right, I'm talented. I'm fairly hardworking to make things happen. But there will be a lot of comparisons. How do you go about that? So my father told me, "I'll listen. Just have your own journey, and that's about it." And I think having your own journey will always give you the love and the appreciation you demand as an artist. Uh, and I think it's amazing. You have two very creative people in your house while growing up, who were always there to guide you, to tell you. And but one thing was there for sure, without sounding too much, if I can say that never ever my brother has ever called any director, producer, and said, "Take my brother in this film." I
Yes.
mean, I can really bet my life on this. Uh, Without sounding too much, man, really, I will leave the city if anyone gets up and says that okay, this film happened because Aishman called an XYZ director or producer. All of them happened through various rounds of audition. All of them happened through uh, your own little journey, starting with a 5-minute role, you know, uh, and moving to 5 to 15 to 25 to 35, and then
Yes.
having your own films and your own worlds. And given a chance to do this again, I would love to start all over again, and in my next life itself as well, have a similar journey, because I think if a relevant journalist like you can have such a polite conversation on this without putting me under the bracket of nepotism and
No.
touch wood, in the entire country there's so many debates on YouTube or otherwise live debates on nepotism. I have never seen my name being floated there, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction, and that makes me sleep very happily at night.
you say it with a lot of pride that your brother or your family did not promote you. It was just meritocracy. Whether I
Yeah,
got a 3-minute role or a 30-minute role, it all
yeah.
happened in your own time, and you're incredibly proud of that. Maybe that's why even directors are coming back to you. With Jubilee, you have worked with Atul, right? And now you're working with him again. Is that the reason you think they have also a reluctant respect for you? Do you think is that why he came back to you and he's giving you like another project? Does that work? Like even your street credit goes up. We call it street credit, right? Among journalists, you don't get paid for reviews. It means you must be decent at your job. I think even with actors, is there something like that where people respect you for making it on your own steam?
Of course, people do. I think that goes in any profession. That's not a journalist or a actor driven industry trait. You know, it's a trait which is universally in any era existing kind of a trait. I think whenever an individual is having his own journey and is trying to put things together and trying to work hard, there have been a lot of instances that I've gone and done a brand shoot or a live chat with a brand. They have repeated us touch for time and again. And same goes for the writer and the director as well. This is my Stree 2 was my fourth film with Maddock. Uh, yes, with Atul Sabharwal, this is my second film. I start my next most likely be a T series. That's my fourth film with them. Uh,
Lovely.
and 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 all these relationships with them started professionally and on my. I mean, it's not that I got introduced to Atul sir or Vikramaditya Motwani or Maddock or T series through Aish Bhaiya. I mean, Bala happened later. Stree happened first with Maddock. I mean, rather Aish Bhaiya started working with Maddock after I had already done my film with them. So
Lovely.
it's not a relationship which got started because whose brother I was. It got started, on a very one-on-one equation. Only through that one audition that relationship started. And
Right.
maybe I was sincere enough in the audition, hence that relationship existed in the best possible way.
Thank you for your
And let's
conversation.
have coffee together next time as well.
Done. Done. Yeah, we'll catch up for coffee in Dubai. That's a plan. You take care.